What do chiropractic work, Pilates, and scoliosis all have in common? They are all aspects of today's guest, so stay tuned to learn a whole lot about all three. Remember to subscribe for free information to help you create a happy and healthy life. Dr. Andromeda Stevens is a doctor of chiropractic in Los Angeles, California, and has been in practice for over 23 years. Inspired by her own scoliosis condition, her practice specializes in scoliosis using the Schroth Method and is Level 2 certified by Dr. Hans R. Weiss, the grandson of Schroth, as one of the very few certified in the U.S. in the original method. Dr. Stevens was introduced to Pilates in the early 90s and was so inspired that she co-founded Pilates Sports Center, Inc. in Los Angeles in 2000 and became a Pilates Method Alliance Gold certified teacher in 2005. The profound results of Pilates with her patients, as well as the inability to find good Pilates instructors for the studio, led her to co-found and co-direct the PSC Pilates Teacher Training Program and the Pilates Master Teacher Program with the mission of providing the highest standard of excellence in Pilates education. Andromeda.
Hi, Tana.
Hi. Andromeda and I have been friends since high school, and we didn't travel in the same circles, but we've become very, very close since all of our high school reunions. So I love her.
Don't make me cry right off the bat.
Okay, we'll wait for later for that. So what made you decide to become a chiropractor?
I had back pain my whole life. From about, I would say like 11, 12, 13, it was pretty bad. Some days I couldn't go to school, or if I was at school I would have to really lean on the table, and I just kind of suffered with it and nobody really thought much of it. I whiplashed my mother on accident. We were horse playing in the house and I tagged her and I whiplashed her. So she had to go to the chiropractor constantly, and she was like, "You're coming with me because it's your fault."
Oh, okay.
So she took me and she started working on me. And she said, "Oh, you have scoliosis." And she started working on my back, and it impressed me so much that I became a chiropractor. My first love of education was art and photography, but it didn't pan out, no pun intended. So I went to chiropractic college, really inspired by my Dr. Renee.
And how old were you when you started chiropractic treatments?
Probably 13, 14.
Okay, pretty young. Wow, I never knew that. And did it help with the pain?
It did, and I kept doing that my whole life to manage the pain, but it wouldn't get rid of it. It just would manage it, and so that's what I did for years, was just chiropractic and massage to manage the pain.
Okay, because I remember when you were in school around the time of our 10th high school reunion.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and so you were in the process of becoming a chiropractor. Okay, I never knew any of this. And you actually took a break from your chiropractic training to briefly go to massage school, so tell us about that.
It was an interesting moment. The chiropractic college I went to was a very challenging college. I was miserable. We called it Shawshank.
God, that's pretty bad.
It was pretty
bad. We won't mention the name of this school.
Right, I'm not going to. But I needed a minute. And I also realized all of the education I was getting was, it's hands-on, it's healing work, it's hands-on people, and nothing about it was telling anybody how to touch anybody. It was just go in, crack bones, diagnose, assess. It was nothing about you as a human or actually touching you or invading your space or your energy, nothing. And really nothing about muscles. So I needed a minute. I needed a break. I was just frazzled, nervous system and everything. And I forget how long the course was, but I feel like
it's the same school I went to.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's like 150 hours, I think. Did you
touch therapy?
Yeah, touch therapy institute.
Okay. Yeah, I did the whole thing.
150 hours, yeah.
Yeah. So that was amazing because you're learning a different learning, but you're also getting massaged all the time because you're partnering. And everything changed. It was amazing. So I'm super glad I did that.
I love that you did that. And I feel like I want to share my experience briefly because I'd been going to a chiropractor, I forget for how many years, and it was fine. I liked him. I had the person come in and put heat and cold and heat and cold, and then he came in for 5 minutes and went crack, 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 see you in a week. And that was pretty much it. And then I stopped going to him, and then I started coming to you because you're you, and you're very conveniently located.
I'm right up the street.
Yeah, right near my house. You're approach was so different. You took so much more time with me. And you know my favorite thing is, because I hate the neck cracking, you know, when you're holding my head. She does this thing, I can't do it, but she does this thing where she does tap, 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 and it makes me go, ah, and then my neck relaxes and then she can crack it. And I don't like cracking, because you knew me as a teenager when I had lupus.
Yeah.
When I was really sick. And in high school, I had very bad arthritis. My knuckles, all of my joints were always inflamed. And so cracking knuckles, I still can't stand when somebody cracks their knuckles around me, because it causes me pain, because cracking back then was excruciating.
Yeah, well, it's so funny that you're mentioning that, because I just spent a weekend at a coaching conference, and one of the women I was spending time with is a trauma therapist. And we were talking a lot about that, about how sounds and smell and all kinds of things get stored in your memory, and physically they get stored. And I just was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's one of
Yeah.
them. But so I never loved the cracking, but you made it so much more enjoyable. And when I go for an appointment, I feel like I'm really being cared for.
Thank you.
Usually at least a half hour.
Yeah,
With
half
you.
an hour.
And I was so used to 5 minutes, bye.
I think some people like that, but
Yeah, maybe they do.
they want to just get on with their day, but
Yeah.
I can't do it.
So how does chiropractic work support overall health?
So there is a theory that any impingement on any nerves, which supply organs, muscle, tissue, skin, if they're impinged in any way, that lifeline is being squashed, and that to relieve that brings about wellness. That's a general description of chiropractic, but if you're in pain, like I was in pain all the time, it really drains your energy. It can make you depressed, even if it's on a low level. It distracts you from what you're doing. It can alter your mood. So anything that relieves that pain, and whether it's chiropractic, massage, emotional work, it frees the whole body, whether it's the mind, the spirit, the actual body. And sometimes people just need to be touched too.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not just about the adjustment, because some people come to me, they don't want to be adjusted. And we have to work around that and do other things.
So you're able to do that for people who are crack sensitive.
Right.
Well, that didn't sound right, but you know what I
No,
mean.
it's true though. It's true.
Wow. Okay. And the touch thing I didn't even think about, because I've recommended massage to people in the past if
Yeah.
they're not in a relationship or they don't have a lot of touch in their
Right.
lives. But I never thought about that, and that is incredibly healing. And as you were talking, I was thinking, does this open up meridians of energy as well, kind of along the same lines of acupressure, acupuncture?
I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
I know with massage work, and we talked about it before, people, they let things go out of massage tissue, out of muscle tissue through massage, but I've had it happen just from skeletal work.
Yeah.
Just oscillating a skeleton sometimes, floodgates open, or they get giggly, or their sinuses drain, like all kinds of things can happen.
How often do you think people should have chiropractic treatment, or does it depend on the individual?
It really depends on the individual. A lot of people will come to me and say, well, I was out of pain for this period of time, and then it came back, and that was, how long ago was that? 3-4 weeks. Well, okay, if you had just done maintenance instead of waiting till we're doing damage control, it would be easier to solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done. We don't all have the time to do maintenance on ourselves and give ourselves that time, and it takes energy to go to an appointment and pay for it. I get it. I go about every 6 weeks, and sooner than that if I'm uncomfortable.
That's good to know, and I'm just realizing I haven't been to you. I'm so overdue for an adjustment.
Self-care.
I know, practice what you preach.
Right.
I need to make an appointment.
Get on it.
I know, sorry. You also own a Pilates studio, and you
Yes.
train Pilates instructors.
Yes.
So how did that all come about?
Okay, fun story. I don't know what year it was, but Madonna was doing Pilates. So everybody was asking me, what is Pilates? What is Pilates? I don't know what year. It must have been 1995 or something. I said, I don't know. I got asked so many times. I said, I will go find out. So I went and took a session. I got immediately hurt. I said, well, that kind of wasn't fun. And I tried it again, and I got hooked, and I found a trainer that I love, Lainey, you know who you are. And she changed everything. So I started sending my patients to go do Pilates to stabilize their backs, because I was just doing a lot of damage control on spines. And they didn't need me anymore. They were stabilizing, they were getting better, they were getting stronger, so they were
Gone.
I said, well, let me look into this. So I went and got certified by a woman named Marie-Jose Blum down in Long Beach. That was a fun commute.
Wow, that's fun.
But I juggled my chiropractic day, my commute, and finishing the course, and then sort of just added one machine to the studio just as kind of a thing, just to dabble. And that turned into 2 machines and another trainer, and then 4 machines, and then renting more space, and it turned into a thing.
Wow.
And one of my clients was so impressive and amazing. I said, you need to get certified and come and do this business with me. And that was Kelly.
Oh, okay.
So she did. And
Yeah.
then it became a Pilates studio. It was never my intention, but it's been amazing. And it was a perfect marriage of spines, its bodies, its health, its stability and work and muscles and breathing. And it was a perfect match. So
It's all aligned, pun intended. Tell us a little bit about, it's Joseph Pilates, correct?
yeah.
Okay.
So Joseph came to it the way a lot of us come to it. He was sickly and injured and unwell, and wanted to prove that he could make himself well. And so he invented his own exercises based on watching animals move
Oh,
and reading anatomy books and taking all sorts of Zen and different practices, and sort of fused this together and came up with a program. And then he was put into a prison camp during World War I because he was German. So he invented machines out of what was happening there at the camp, which were springs and bed frames, and started working on the sick soldiers and other internees. And then when he was liberated, that turned into, obviously, Pilates as we know it today. He moved to New York, and he kept inventing. He was just a mad scientist, really. He was like a Jack LaLanne.
yeah, I had Jack LaLanne in my head
Right.
as you were talking about that.
Very similar mentality of just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I had no idea about the prisoner of war aspect
Yeah.
of that. I knew
Yeah.
Joseph Pilates invented this. Wow. I don't even think if most people know that Pilates is somebody's name.
Yeah,
You know,
Joe.
that came from an actual
Joe.
person.
Yeah, actually a guy.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
If you see the pictures of him throughout his life, it's amazing how amazing he looked at 65 and up.
I can imagine. Stay fit. And look good as you grow older. So you're also the scoliosis coach. So did that come about as a result of your own scoliosis?
No, actually.
Really?
Because my own scoliosis I was managing with chiropractic and massage, and I thought that's all there was. And Pilates was helping me just be stronger. But I didn't know there was anything else. I wasn't taught anything else in chiropractic college. But a client of ours at the studio with terrible scoliosis, like a really, really large curve, was being recommended for surgery, and she didn't want to do that. She was panicking, and she said, there's got to be something else I can do. I don't want to have surgery. I said, let me do some research, and I found a place for her that does the Schroth Method. They actually called it New Schroth Method down in Irvine, and she went and did that and came back with this booklet. And I said, well, that is just fascinating, and I want to learn that. So after a year of scratching of a way to figure out how to learn it, I found somebody who would teach me, who happens to be the grandson of the inventor of the Schroth Method.
Oh,
And
that's...
he's in Germany, so he was coming to the U.S. one time. So I took my opportunity and flew back east and trained with him, and Dr. Marco works closely with him. So I got certified in the Schroth Method, and then a couple years later went for my level 2. So it completely changed everything. It was nothing I thought that it was based on my Pilates education or my chiropractic education. It was a hard left turn and has been a life changer for my practice and for people I work with and for my own back. I don't have pain now that I'm managing all the time. I'm basically out of pain.
Oh, that's because I was going to ask you, did you go through the method?
I did.
With the person in Irvine?
As a matter of fact, no. Dr. Marco, who is works with Dr. Weiss, came to California one time and said, can I rent space at your office? But I said, of course. So I went through an intensive course with him. 4 hours I did.
Wow.
I was pretty wrecked from it, but...
What's a usual session?
Well, a usual session that I do starts with about an hour and a half, and then a break of a few days or a week, and then another hour and a half, because it's very intense, it's very physical, and you're working muscles you're not used to working, so they wake up and they get sore, and they have something to say about it. So during 4 hours of it, my spine was pretty upset, but coming out the other side of it, I mean, I woke up in pain. I went to bed in pain. It was there all the time.
I never knew that. I feel
All the
terrible that I
time.
never knew that about you.
So now it's very quiet, if not gone.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so incredible how these different things have come up that you never anticipated, that you didn't even know about at the time. So, wow. And that you have all of these under your belt and you're helping so many people. It's so amazing. That's why I love her. Well, I love her because I love her. But just you as a professional, I have so much respect and admiration for you.
Thank you.
Because you're really changing lives. What is the most inspiring story of healing or transformation that you've experienced with a client?
I think the most amazing person was a woman that we had when we had just opened the studio. We were pretty brand new to the whole thing. But we were well underway with her, and she had MS, a pretty bad case of MS, to the point where she had an ability to start her car remotely to get the air conditioning going. She was very temperature sensitive. I think she had a cane, and we had done Pilates with her, I think twice a week for a few months. And she came in one day and she said, I have to thank you, and my husband wants to thank you. I used to be incontinent, and I'm not anymore. And it has changed my life. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Because she had strengthened her pelvic floor and her core muscles, and it had completely changed her ability to control her bladder.
Oh my God, that's something you wouldn't expect.
It came out of left field, and it blew me away.
Oh my goodness. That's pretty amazing.
That's good stuff.
Whoosh.
It makes you want to get up every day and go do your job.
Yeah. Well, you are changing lives and helping people.
Thank you.
Your studio, Pilates Sports Center, offers a wide array of services. Tell us about that.
So Pilates Sports Center is in Encino. We have obviously Pilates, privates, semi-privates, and groups. So we still have a bar going, and then the school. So we operate the school out of the studio to create more instructors that are going to go and do their thing. We've been very fortunate. We have an amazing team.
Yeah.
And they've been with us for years.
So this is in Encino, California, but if someone is watching this from somewhere else, what would you suggest? What's the best way to find a Pilates instructor that is good and works well for you?
Oh, it's buyer beware. I mean, how would you know if your instructor is skilled? You haven't done your homework. Mm-hmm. People spend more time deciding on what cell phone to buy or what car to get, or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you have to do your research and pick don't just pick it's on the corner and it's cheap. Find out, does this person come from a valid education? Mm-hmm. How long have they been practicing? Yeah. Do they have insurance?
Okay, these are all really good points that people might not think of when they're looking for a Pilates studio or instructor.
I mean, you got hurt.
I did, yeah.
Not that it was her fault, but...
It wasn't her fault, but she never followed up with me either. I never heard
And I
from
got
her
hurt
yet.
the first time.
Did you really?
Yeah, my very first session I got hurt.
Oh, no. How did you get hurt? What happened?
She was looking in the mirror and doing her hair and checking her nails.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and she asked me to do something outrageous, and I did it, and now I teach the opposite of what she had told me to do.
Yes, do your research.
Do your research.
Learn about your people.
Right.
So where can people find you and learn more about everything you have to offer?
Pilates Sports Center has its own website, so that's pilatesportscenter.com. We do have a listing on our website of our affiliates. So if you are looking for another instructor somewhere else that we talked about, we do have affiliates all over the country that teach our program.
Perfect.
And then for myself, for the scoliosis and chiropractic, it's scoliosis.coach.com.
We'll put everything right here, and everything will be in the description below as well.
She's amazing.
You're amazing. This has been so interesting. I have learned so much, not only about chiropractic and Pilates and the Schroth Method, but about you.
You know what? All friends should interview each other.
Yeah.
And they will learn a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. And remember, for the best information about law of attraction and holistic living, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified every time I post a new video.
Ding!
That. Thank you so much for being here, Joe. I love you so much. Thank you.
You are so good at this. This is your jam.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. I'm already crying.
I can edit
that
out.
Are you Oprah? There's a lot of crying in this session. They should need to bring Schoolhouse Rock back.
I've got it, and I love it.
You and I are always sticking things in our bra.
I know.
If you ever want to find anything, it's right down there.
Yeah.